Hi, this is the second part of a short series of videos just to show beginners or people just trying to learn how to the best ways of cutting out items for scrapbooking or any kind of design work, crafting, basically any image that you want to cut out neatly and professionally with a nice crisp edge that you want to put in your photo albums even. These are the best ways of doing it. There are other ways, but this is the ways I've been taught and the way I follow. So firstly, just recap on the previous episode in which we stated that you needed a scalpel with a sharp blade. As stated, please look back at the other video if you haven't seen it yet. Locked in securely with a nice sharp edge, making sure there's no chips or anything. A metal ruler, flat, not bent out of shape. Sometimes people will bend them and things like that. You need to make sure it's lying flat on the ground, on the mat, which is the next item. Nice, sturdy, self-healing, if possible, cutting mat. None of these items are expensive in their own right. I mean, you can spend quite a sum of money on certain items, but I've always bought low price items that are easily replaced if damaged or lost, and I've done quite well so far with what I have. So the first item that I'm going to show you is simple items, such as this one here, which has got 4 sides, which makes it very easy to cut out with the ruler. Very simple. I want to put this image in my design book, or for a presentation, etc. So first way to comprehend this is to, before you even start cutting, is to look at what area you want to cut, whether you want any of this black border showing on the item when you've cut it out, because if you target it now that you didn't want that border, then it's a lot easier than trying to trim off a very thin line afterwards. So you've got to bear this in mind before you start cutting. If it's an intricate shape, then we'll go into that a little bit later on and how you cut the item out and what you would leave. But for now we'll look at this straightforward item. Now I want a little bit of a white border on this picture, so we'll go from here. First things first is look at the item that you want. Also, when you're laying down your ruler, try not to dig into the paper or catch it. Some of the metal rulers are quite sharp and might scratch it, especially with a printed image such as this where it's quite matte, so therefore if you scrape your ruler across you might scratch the image you're trying to actually cut and preserve. So then we look at the actual image itself, and when you're looking, a lot of people make the first mistake of lining up the ruler, if this is the image that you want, is cutting it. And the problem with that is when you are cutting and you may slip, you may cut into the image that you're trying to keep and damage it. You may only have one shot at it, so you need to make sure 100% that when you cut in that you're not going to hit the target area that you're wanting to keep. Therefore, when you are cutting images like this, it's to always look at putting your ruler on the opposite side, so looking at the side that you're wanting to cut away rather than the side you're wanting to keep. So if you see on this line, I'm going to use this black line as a border. I'll keep the edging in, so I'll use my ruler, line right up to that, right up to the edge, a little bit of positioning, and then when you're cutting, make sure you got a firm grip on your scalpel, firm grip with your finger in place, nice and easy, nice sharp blade. And when you're using it, just slow, start, steady. You can do as many cuts as you want, you don't have to do it all in one go. Nice and easy, and then one more for luck if you want to. Make sure you got a nice clean cut. Pull away. Again, just try not to touch your image if you don't want to. I'm trying to see, and you'll see that there's a nice clean cut going all the way through. And you repeat that for the next stage. So lining up to the black line, going over, making sure we're not encroaching on anything. Using the light above, so making sure that I can see everything I'm cutting through again, nice and easy, nice and controlled, not trying to go too fast, nice and easy. And repeat that again. So as you see, laying down the ruler, lifting the ruler off and laying down, so the bottom edge I'm just lifting like that, so not scraping the ruler across the picture, always lifting and placing nice and slowly onto the image. line it up again, taking my time, nice and easy, just pulling it back, and then once again. Now obviously the different media types that you're going to be using, you may well need to cut a few times, but just take your time. Never pull the image, never try and taut it, just try and ease it out. So again, lining up the image to the black line, and just pulling in, pulling across, in and across, nice and slow. Now if you've cut it properly and you're happy with the way you've done your image, you should be able to lift your page off, and it should have it out, and you'll see that it's just catching. So I'm not going to pull it, I'm not going to try and pull it off because I'll get a really rough edge. I'm just going to lay it back down, grab my ruler again, find the line which I've cut before because you'll have the two sides, and just slowly pull my scalpel back again to make sure it's cut, and you'll see that that's lifted, and I've got the perfect image that I'm after. Nice and easy, no problem. And you'll see that all the edges are intact, nice clean cuts, and that's pretty much it for this tutorial. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you, bye.